Alright, yesterday I started the challenge of drawing a Tesla Cybertruck a day for 30 days straight. I have been thinking of doing this for months now. I think it's time I actually did it. As an artist, I have been relying on inspiration for a long time now. So I designed this challenge to help me jumpstart the creativity or drawing process without being inspired. And yesterday's sketch is the first produce of art with zero inspiration. However, today's sketch, I'm using an aid in form of a ruler, cause I'm still not feeling the inspiration to draw. Oh, sorry for the interruption, I just ran into a problem. As I'm editing the video, I just discovered that the footage is scrambled halfway, and I can't redo the drawing at the moment. So this is the finished sketch of day 2. However, for the next 28 days, I have to go back to the basics, and tomorrow I'll start with perspective. Alright, perspective is the art of representing three-dimensional objects on a two-dimensional surface as to give the right impression of their height, width, depth, and position in relation to each other. In other words, I just call it point of view, or rather POV, and in art form it works with sight. Yes, and that means the further the object is, the smaller it looks. Just like this sketch on day 3. It remotely looks like a Tesla Cybertruck, because the other side looks smaller. And that's why I'm drawing this Cybertruck like it was created from Minecraft, so that I can stretch these points out. That's why perspective drawing is just a 3D drawing with a little bit of realism in it. And there are other ways you can draw in perspective, and these are the area view, the sitting view or lower view, and the eyeline view, or the standing view, which is my favorite of them also. I'm using it again on day 7 on the front view of this truck. So when drawing in perspective, you shouldn't compromise the depth, height, and width of the drawing itself, including the position, because they are the fundamentals. However, tomorrow I'm going to add on shading. Okay, shading is just the manipulation of lights and shadows using pencils, and it goes with pressure points, and that's my definition. So, in this example, we're having light coming from this direction. In this case, so the shadow will be in this other direction. That's why I added a few simple strokes of 2B pencil, and they call this method hatching. Why? I don't really know, I'll just look it up. And these are the basics of today. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, for day 9 and day 10, I have been having technical problems with my camera, but I didn't want this problem to get in the way of my challenge. So, this is the day 9 project. The tool I used is a B pencil, and the technique is called scribbling. On day 10, I used 3B pencil, and the technique was stippling mixed with finger blending. And today's technique is hatching, cross-hatching, and blending using tissue paper. In this drawing, I'm having 2 different light sources, on which the first source is hitting the windscreen of the car and the other source is hitting the side of the same vehicle. I really have a lot to say, but that is for another video. However, blending is something which is easy to do, and you can use any pencil and the results might be the same. With that said, up next is ballpoint. Yes, with ballpoint I'll be using the same techniques I used in shading. It's been 2 years since I did some ballpoint art, so I'm a bit rusty. So for the next days, I will try going back to the basics, which is perspective drawing, and yes, the same techniques I use in shading. Okay, this is the last day drawing with ballpoint pens. However, for the past few days, I have grown confident drawing using ballpoint pens to the point that I am drawing this thing in pink. I think from now on, I will be practicing using ballpoint pens. I need to get my proportions right. Good morning, today is day 18 and I'm feeling confident to use this marker right here. And I'll do it with zero practice. So here's the final artwork. Yep, it's terrible. So let's restart. In my case, so before I use the marker, I have to sketch using a pencil, which gives me the possibility of erasing if I make a mistake. So after sketching, this is when I have to trace on top using a marker. And I held the marker firmly with minimal finger movements. Cause when you're drawing using markers, you have to use your arm to draw, not your fingers, to have less disturbances and mistakes. That's why for the next 3 days, I'll be using markers to draw, and I'll introduce highlighters. So I want to get familiar using these materials. Today I just realized that I have watercolors. I've been sleeping on these materials for some time now. I have never used watercolors in my life before, so it will be my new challenge now. Like how to hold a brush, the amount of water to add before I mix the paint, or rather the colors, and how to stir and mix the paint. So this is the painting of the day. It lacks foam and it's a disaster. I hope I will improve in the next 2 days. Today is day 25 and I'm still painting like a 5-year-old. But don't get me wrong, I love painting, it's satisfying to do. But I have to acknowledge that I need to understand the basic principles of painting, so I have to take a course. And as I'm remaining with a few days to completion, I have to wrap up with the subjects I have completed. I'll call it the rerun. This is my finding from this 30-day challenge. Yes, you can draw without being inspired. It's all about consistency and being interested in the subjects you're drawing or creating. And the other reason I'm doing this challenge was that I was having challenges completing a drawing or a project in a single day, so I decided to do this. However, it has helped me organize myself and being efficient before I started drawing, and it has made me overcome that temptation of quitting before I complete a project. It has given me confidence to overcome my fears of not making mistakes, because in mistakes is how we learn as creatives. Throughout this entire project, I decided not to learn anything new, not to check on YouTube or any other space to learn anything. So it was pure skill and the little knowledge I have. However, but when it comes to painting, I really need to learn a lot. I'm really behind on this craft. And finally, it's day 30, I have to do something different now. I have to incorporate everything I've learned in the past 29 days and put it into this drawing. It's semi-imaginative art, whereby the Cybertruck is on the moon and on the background there is Earth, a polluted planet. And the materials I'm using is pencils, markers and paint in this drawing. By the way, I'm planning to go full-time with this artwork, and this piece will be available as a sticker and poster. The link is in the description below. Or if you just like this art piece, you can just give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my projects, you can just subscribe. Enough of me talking, let me finish this project.